how to register a company in Singapore in 2025. And this is like a step-by-step guide because I have incorporated 2 companies in Singapore so far and I'm here to share my experience. To be specific, I incorporated my first company in January 2023 for my YouTube business, and recently in July 2025, I incorporated my second business, Solo Biz, which is a solopreneur consulting business enhanced to help individuals start their own hustle. So for the benefits of incorporating a company, I have repeated time over time. Number 1, credibility. Banks and clients will take you more seriously if you are a private limited compared to you are just a side hustle. Number 2, limited liability. It protects your personal assets against like potential law cases. Sometimes you have infringements and you don't want to let your personal assets be in danger of getting taken away. And number 3 is the most important one, potential tax savings, because there's so much more money to be saved on how you can optimize your taxes between a business owner versus you are a sole proprietor. And the main advantage of starting a business in Singapore is that you can start everything online. You don't even have to be physically present at any government office. Registering a business in ACRA can take place within a day if all documents are ready. But if you want the zero hassle way, I can show you how Osome can handle everything for you later. So step number 1, most importantly, you will need to pick a business name. But before that, you may want to search up the business name in ACRA BizFile to make sure that you are not copying or similar to any other existing businesses having the same name. Also, there are certain restrictions like bank, education, or Singapore, which is more sensitive, because it can be linked to some big organization or the government. So just avoid words like that. Secondly, you don't want to be named too similarly to any existing business, just so there's no confusion and also prevent any kind of copyright infringement. So a pro tip is to keep it short, keep it memorable, and make sure there is an availability of domain. If you want to set up a website, make sure that this domain is available and align with the brand. And whatever social media accounts and branding names you want to use, make sure the handles are all aligned. So like I say, the business name is really important. And if you get it wrong from the start, it will just hamper your process of starting out the business. Step number 2, you will need to choose your business structure. So there are a few options like sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability partnership, and most importantly, private limited company, which I think most of you are here for, because the benefits of private limited, like I mentioned, limited liability, it protects your personal assets. There is a more professional image to scale and potentially lower effective tax rate compared to, if you add all the income into your personal income tax rate. And personally, I would not recommend you to start a sole proprietorship or limited liability partnership because all the income is just going to be added to your personal income tax. The purpose to start a company should be to segregate your personal income versus a company income so that there is tax advantage. So I don't see the purpose in sole proprietorship and limited liability partnerships. Step number 3, you will need to choose your primary activity. For example, my YouTube business, it is coded under 73100, which stands for advertising activities. And this will cover influencer marketing, YouTube sponsorships, affiliate marketing, and content monetization because you rely on ads for a living and commissions from brands. So depending on what your business activity is, what is your main revenue generating source, then you will want to choose the specific activity. Okay, if you are not sure, just go and ask AI, tell them what business you are doing right now and what is the specific code that you should use. Step number 4, you will need to prepare the required documents. For each director or shareholder, you will need the NRIC or passport, a proof of address, and usually this can be fulfilled via SingPass. And if you're a foreigner founder, you will need at least one resident director, which is a Singaporean citizen or a PR. And I know what you're thinking as a foreigner because you don't know anyone, but don't worry, this can be outsourced. I'll share more later. You also need to decide the share capital of minimum 1 Singapore dollars and how you want the ownership split. Finally, you will need a registered address, which can be a home address or an office address, or you can pay someone to get a virtual office address. And I fully know that all this sounds really tedious, really tiring, and really time consuming. But here's the thing, I only spent less than 1 work day to incorporate my business. How so? Because I outsource to Osome, which is a professional service provider that helps new businesses like you to incorporate with minimum hassle and paperwork so that you can focus on growing your business. What I like about Osome is that all the documents can be signed and stored online for proper documentation so that you will not miss them. Click the link in description to get started with 16% off any Osome services, and you get to support this channel as well. Now moving on to step number 4, you will need to appoint a company secretary or corporate secretary. This is mandatory under the Singapore law because you have to appoint one within 6 months of incorporation, and it cannot, and I repeat, cannot be the same person as the sole director. So even if you're a one-person company, you cannot be the company secretary. So what this company secretary does is that it handles statutory filings and compliance deadlines. It will be the one to provide the documents and prepare it to submit to ACRA, which is our government statutory body. But don't worry, you don't need to hire someone full-time to do this. You can just outsource it to Osome. For example, I chose the 1-year secretary package and paying $300 a year before discounts. So they will ensure that the deadlines for submitting documents will be communicated to me and I prepare in time to make sure I am compliant. Finally, step number 5. After you're done with everything, the final step is to register with ACRA. Of course, you can do it yourself, DIY, and here is the cost involved. $15 for the name registration and $300 for the incorporation. Total $315 of government fees. And if you submit online via the BizFile portal, I'm sure your registration will be approved within a day if there are no specific issues. But if you're like me who prefer to outsource, I think a corporate service provider like Osome can handle everything for you for $600, including 1 year of corporate secretary service. Furthermore, if you use my exclusive link, you get 16% off that $600, which makes it $504 for incorporation service plus 1 year secretary. So instead of going the DIY strategy where you pay $315 to the government plus you need to hire your own secretary for $300, total $615, you can now get the full package at $504 with Osome. So I would strongly recommend and prefer to go this outsourced route with Osome. And the good thing for foreigners is that if you need a local director, Osome also provide this service as well. So all in one, very awesome. So after you have finished incorporating your company, what are the next steps? Firstly, you will need to open a corporate bank account like from DBS, OCBC, UOB, or other online business accounts if you prefer. This is really to segregate your company money versus your own individual money because it may get quite messy if you have a lot of business transactions. Number 2 is to set up your accounting or bookkeeping system. You can do so on subscription service via Xero or QuickBooks, or if you are proficient in AI, you can just use a spreadsheet and ask AI to help you fact check. And the reason you need this bookkeeping system is because you will need to prepare financial statements annually, and this has to be submitted either for annual returns or tax filing. But I'm very sure most of you don't understand what I'm talking about if you are a new solopreneur or entrepreneur, so we'll go through more of this in our Solo Biz community. So go and follow my Instagram page at SoloBizSG because we are going to launch the product very soon and I hope all of you are interested in it. But coming back to this topic, you may be interested in why I quit my corporate job to become a solopreneur, and that's where I lay out my reasons right here.